President Obama is doing is he is defying the law, he's defying the Constitution. You know, the President quite rightly said just a few weeks ago, his policies were on the ballot all over the country. This last election was a referendum on amnesty, and the American people overwhelmingly rose up and said, no, we don't want lawless amnesty.
That was Senator Ted Cruz moments ago, right here on the Kelly File, reacting to the president's plan to make a big announcement on immigration tomorrow night. And we already have a powerful lineup of newsmakers and analysts set to join us right here on the Kelly File. We will have the breaking news for you. Set your DVRs now. All of this comes as the Wall Street Journal and NBC released a new poll asking, do you approve of the president taking executive action on immigration? 48%, nearly half, say they are against the president's executive action. Just 38% support. Janice Fuentes is a Democratic strategist and former chief of staff to Representative Luis Gutierrez of Illinois. Janice, thank you for being here. And so we played the sound bites at the top of the hour. The president on record dozens and dozens of times saying he does not have the authority to do this. He believes it would be illegal, extra-constitutional, and he cannot flout the laws. What's changed?
Nothing's changed. I think this is the way you characterize the issue. I think that there's ample evidence that executive orders are very appropriate. And if you look at history, if you look at the last 10 presidents, including 4 Republicans, President Obama has used executive orders a lot less on average.
So he was wrong.
4 Republican presidents. No, I think the president is right in that he cannot pass laws. He has said he's not a king.
No, he
but
wasn't
in terms of
speaking to
executive
that.
action, I know, Megan, but I think we need to make sure our audience understands that the word that Senator Cruz loves to use, illegal amnesty, is not what we're talking about.
I get that. Amnesty is citizenship, and that's not what he's talking
amnesty.
about.
Amnesty is what President Reagan passed in 1986, when he signed into law. He didn't pass it. He signed it into law.
No, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
Thank you.
And
there's an important difference.
I know that's a hot button term that the right uses to sort of get people upset.
Thank you for agreeing.
And some believe that what he's doing amounts to amnesty, but legally it is citizenship, which President Obama is not doing. But if you can go back to what I said, because I really am searching genuinely for an answer. The president, whatever you feel, I mean, you may feel as passionately as you can that this needs to be done in terms of helping these illegal immigrants, these families. And so you may want to make your case to the American people. What I'm asking you is, do you believe President Obama when he said 25 times he doesn't have the authority to do this by himself?
He does not have the authority to pass laws by himself. Yes, Megan,
not pass
you're
laws.
right.
He was talking about executive action, Janice.
But he has the authority to pass executive action. Yes, he does.
Okay, so you disagree. So I just want to walk through it together.
Yes.
I'm going to give you the floor, but I just want you to walk through it with me. So you disagree with what he was saying, because he was speaking about executive action. He was talking. He was talking to people who, like yourself, who were saying, come on, do it. It's a do-nothing Congress. Bypass them, for the love of God. Sign an executive action that will help these families. And he was saying on that issue, I can't. So do you agree with him now, or do you agree with him then?
I'll agree with him tomorrow when he explains to the American people what is it that he's going to do. I think there's a lot of details that you and I do not have. So until I hear tomorrow, what is it that he's exactly doing? Because we can agree on the fact that we haven't seen it, right? He's briefing leadership right now. He's having dinner at the White House with Democrats. And they probably know it. Yeah, I don't know it. You don't know it. When I hear what he has to say tomorrow, I can judge on that. But what I want you to know, what I share deeply, is that we need these people to be in the system and on the books.
See, but I think that's a substantive argument that you are more than entitled to make and should make to the American people to try to convince them. I mean, right now, the polls say they don't want him to take this executive action. And you can make it to the U.S. House. The Senate passed immigration reform on a bipartisan basis. The House said no. So in our system, the way it works is you go to those congressional representatives and you say, I'm going to change your mind.
But Megan, you just nail it on the head, that nail. You know that last summer we had bipartisan legislation, 68 to 32 or something like that. We had 13 members from the Republican Party, including McCain, Republican, voting for this. We gave it to the House of Representatives under Republican leadership, they could not get this done. So I think we have had 500 days.
But Janice,
no, the House did not vote.
We
have wasted so much time.
But listen, let me ask this,
Boehner
and I'll give you the floor back. I'll give you the floor back. The problem is, I get that you really want it. And I get that you think it's totally legitimate. Well, I mean, there's a split in the country about whether it should be done, but that's fine. Put that to the side, because what we know is that the U.S. House said no to it. But the thing is, it may be irritating, it may be maddening, but they get a vote. They represent their districts. They count.
Yes, they count, and they're elected to pass legislation. Why
Not
did
if they oppose it.
I know, but hold on. So the Speaker Boehner says he believes in passing this, in moving this forward and dealing with the issue of immigration. Yet, I don't get, as a taxpayer and as a voter, a lot of confidence that 500 days have to gone by and nothing gets passed. So why do I have to wait now for another Congress to be sworn in, for me to then sit and wait for another 500 years? I mean,
because
500 days.
Because of the Constitution.
The Constitution
says that's the short answer. Here's my last question for you.
Congress passes laws. Yes.
Separation of powers. Here's my last question for you. Are you worried about the precedent that this sets, that we may get a Republican president in there who says, you know what, I don't like these laws that we have preventing people from protesting outside of abortion clinics, and I am going to choose not to enforce those laws because I just don't have the resources to do that, and now there's a precedent for me to do this kind of sweeping action?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I have to backtrack, because the interview before, you were saying, and Senator Cruz was saying that basically the president has chosen to ignore the laws. The president has deported more people than all of the previous two Republican presidents together. That is the law. The president is enforcing the law.
I did it for 6 years and now I'm tired.
2 million since he's been president. Come on. He is enforcing the law. You cannot accuse the president of not enforcing the law.
But we're kind of looking at tomorrow now. We're looking at a go-forward basis.
That's right. So I will belong to talk when I have the details about tomorrow. But remember, it is not the law what comes tomorrow. Thank you. I'll be delighted to.
No, I appreciate the conversation. I really do. And to having you stick on substance, we're glad you're here.
Thank you, Megan.
All right, all the best. So the president is meeting with some Democrats tonight, having dinner. No Republicans. The White House says, well, if he thought the Republicans would help him, he'd invite them too. We are taking your thoughts on this. Twitter is going nuts right now, and so is our Facebook page with the top of our show. You can add your voice at facebook.com/thekellyfile and follow me on Twitter at Megyn Kelly. Again, the place to watch the fallout after the president's speech tomorrow night is right here on the Kelly File, 9 p.m. Eastern, where he's expected to speak. I think it's 8:10, and then we'll be here live as history happens. There is also growing controversy tonight over the administration response to the gruesome attack in Jerusalem yesterday, when 2 men intent on butchering innocent civilians praying in a synagogue unleashed hell. Brett Stevens is here next. Plus, over a dozen women have accused Hollywood actor and comedian Bill Cosby of drugging and sexually assaulting them in the past. So why is the former DA who investigated tonight standing by his decision not to prosecute?